Hi, I'm Liz Findlay and I'm going to speak on your home has a consciousness. So I think many of us can accept that anything living and perhaps growing does have a consciousness. So that would be people, animals, plants, even Mother Earth. And perhaps to think that something that is not living in that sense, how does it have a consciousness? So I'll start by talking about Dr. Emoto's experiments with water. Now, in a very short synopsis of that, it was done with water where it was shown how water changes literally the structure under a microscope when words are presented. So it could be a high vibe word like love or a low vibe word like hate, and it would change. Now that to me personally shows it has a consciousness. And I'd also then like to touch on the fact that many people even name their cars, and I think that's fabulous. And it's them tuning into that energy of the car and giving it a name. I mean, I certainly feel my car as a conscious being, and I just love her. I love it's a smart car, love my smart car. And so then we can take that further into actually our home, the whole structure of a building. And I tuned into this where I live. Now I live in a block of flats, and it was in meditation that I got to meet the consciousness of my individual flat within the whole block. It was during a process. Now I always call in the crystalline grid of the earth into the building, and like in another podcast I did, I specifically say everywhere I have permission to call it in from the higher selves of all those involved. And then I call in gold light from the great central sun down into the building, again everywhere I have permission from the higher selves of those involved. And it was during this process that I met the consciousness of my flat. And while I don't think there's a gender attached, it's just going to be easier for me to say she showed me that essentially every flat within this building has got its own consciousness, and it is a home consciousness that the people inhabiting it can have a relationship with the home, and it can be mutually beneficial. I was also shown that they communicate with each other, all of these individual consciousnesses, if that's the right word, I'm sure it's not, within the building, that they are interlinked, and then there's kind of one overseeing greater consciousness of the entire building. They're all connected. And there was a bit of confusion amongst some of these consciousness of each flat, in that the building where I live, it used to be an office block, and it was then changed into flats, apartments for people to live in. And there were some of these consciousnesses, again, don't know if that's the right word, that did understand what had happened, but there were others that were a bit confused, because essentially as they were dividing up the office space into a dwelling, there would be a consciousness that would form for that dwelling. And then even more so, it would develop as a family or an individual would move in. And so I did ask the consciousness of my flat, my apartment, if she could go and explain to the others or through the network this process that happened of it changing from an office block into residential apartments. Because as you can imagine, I personally don't get the vibe that the contractors, the builders, the people who are coming in to do that transition process, the building works, I don't think they had a lot of respect for the space. And so there was a bit of upset there. And the reason why I wanted to share this podcast is because I've just had a client session, and this lady that I was on Zoom with, she has just moved home, and she has been doing some amazing works to her place, getting it all repainted, a little bit of a minor refurb, making it her own, and also making it look nice, upgrading certain features. And tuning into the consciousness of her home, there was some confusion there as well. Firstly, her home on an energetic level was running both the agreements of her being the guardian. I don't want to use the word owner because we don't own a consciousness. So she helped me actually realize this. She is the guardian of the home through a 3D legal contract. Now, even though the contract of the previous occupants has been on a 3D level terminated, and she's now the new guardian, on an energetic level, that contract was still playing out to a certain degree. And this is why her home, the consciousness of her home, was a little confused, because it's connected to those people and to her. So I guided her through a process where she could have a conversation. I also did a process of disconnecting her home from those other people, releasing that agreement on an energetic level so that it's just her in the home and we don't need to have the energy of those other people there. Also got her to clear it out. And the other interesting thing that came from that is that she did need to have a conversation with her home, explaining the works that she's doing. You know, explaining that this is to make it nice and a beautiful space for both of them to, you know, inhabit the space together in an amicable relationship and a mutually beneficial relationship. Because I was shown something very beautiful in that this home is very specific to her highest vibrational timeline. And so we did also do some work getting her on her highest vibrational timeline, and then she's going to now do a process on her own in meditation where she gets her higher selves involved, getting her and her home on the highest vibrational timeline. And I can just see down this timeline that this home for her is going to be so important. It's going to provide a sanctuary for her to be creative, for gifts to come online and for her central nervous system to calm. And it really is such an integral part of her timeline. And so it's just beautiful. And she was just so delighted just tuning into that consciousness. So I shared a story with her that I'd like to share with you, is that when I was tuning into the consciousness of my home, I asked her if there is anything that I can do to help her and anything that she would like. Now, one of the things, so I think many of you know that I moved home in December. So at the recording of this podcast, what is that? I think 4 months ago, something like that. And I got it to a point where it is a lovely home. I'm very happy here, but I am hiding some boxes away that I have not unpacked, especially behind the banner in my office. It is a wonderful screen. And so the consciousness of my home did express that while she does understand that I got very tired and bored of unpacking boxes, and really I wanted to give back to all of the ideas I have for my business, she had asked if in time I can dedicate moments here and there to unpacking and sorting through that. So I have said, yes, I'll see if I can do that. The other thing that she expressed to me, which is just so beautiful, is that she loves it when I sing. Now, I'm not a professional singer of any sorts, but after moving in here, quite to my surprise, I have started singing light language to myself. Really had huge benefit from that. And it's one of my guides who actually gives it to me with a tune, and I take a moment. So I've been doing that generally every second day. I make myself ceremonial grade cacao, and it's while I make the cacao in the ceremony that I am singing this light language. And I can even ask for a specific one for whatever I'm needing support with. And so, yeah, the consciousness of my home was expressing that she really loves hearing this and to do more. So that's great encouragement for me. And I'm finding it really beneficial having this relationship with my home and just tuning in, checking in if there's anything that she needs, and thanking her. Thanking her for this beautiful sanctuary that she is providing me. and the peace, the quiet. And I do feel so blessed. I was guided to come here. It just felt so right on many levels. Some of them I can't even explain. And so I know that there is some agreement on some or other level between me and the consciousness of this home, that we are meant to be walking this journey together in this moment on this timeline. And so I encourage you to take a moment within meditation. It could be within your grounding and protecting in the morning. Tune into the consciousness of your home. You could even ask your higher selves, your guides, to help introduce you to your home. See what feels right for you and see how the relationship can blossom. So if you are needing any guidance and assisting with grounding and protecting, I have 2 free tracks on my YouTube channel. One of them is geared for the morning. Both of them are under 15 minutes. So the morning one is Highlight Decree Invoking Energetic Protection. And the other one is specific for nighttime, and it's Highlight Decree Dream State Protection. And within both of these, while they are mainly geared for your own energy fields, I do bring in energetic protection for the home as well. So wishing you a beautiful day ahead, and thanks for joining me. And if it resonates with you and it calls to you, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. It will encourage me to do more of these videos and also help them reach more people, I think, with the algorithms. And again, if it resonates, do like and comment below. I'd love to see and hear about your interaction with the consciousness of your home. Bye.